just going to get right on my yoga class. And I also am going to talk with you a little bit about the Micah Miller case and also, of course, the Kylie Rodney case. Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of conversation, hoping to open up a discussion and learn something. And I'm really trying to learn this yoga and learning how to teach the yoga. This is a yin class. It's very relaxing. I'm going to just roll through it and get started right away. I just have about an hour to spend with you guys. Please hit that like button if you'd be so kind. So, the first thing I want to say about Kylie Rodney is, or the first question I want to ask. I didn't finish up my spiel though. All of my videos are made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. So it's educational and maybe quasi entertainment, but education is what I aim for. Entertainment is just something I like to cover in my spiel. But with Kylie Rodney, what was it that her mother whispered in Scammy's ear at the presser at the community center? And then right after that was when Scammy said that she'll take everybody's names to jail. We really need to know what Lindsay whispered in her ear, in my opinion. So with the Micah Miller case, you guys, it's completely bogus. It's just BS. It's just gaslighting everywhere, all over the place. I said this in my last video, but my last video was all messed up, so I don't even know if you guys heard it. The medical examiner that called JP was not on duty. He was not on call. He self-dispatched out there to the state park. We know about state parks and federal parks and the weird jurisdiction with that. We also know that this was North Carolina where she was found as opposed to South Carolina where she was from. So you got the crossing of the state lines. And finally, and most importantly, JP's father had been arrested many times, but he'd been arrested in a state park in South Carolina many years ago. I want to say like 10 or 15 years ago for indecent exposure. And that was expunged off of his record. So I'm going to put a link to JLR Investigates. He's the one who found that, and I want to give him credit for that. I'm imagining that a lot of people have come across that by now, just like that insane video of JP rolling around on the ground crying like a baby. And man, Mr. Melodramatic, like unreal, unbelievable. The fact that JP's father was arrested in a state park for something lewd and lascivious, and then that was expunged from his record, makes me think that he's got connections with his religious organization and with the money, and that he knew how to kind of play the ropes. He knew the ropes to do that in a state park in North Carolina, is my guess, my speculation, my opinion. And why in the world would Micah drive all the way up there for that? That doesn't make any sense. I'm not 100% convinced that that's her in the videos, like purchasing the weapon. Maybe it is. Maybe she was purchasing the weapon to do this. Maybe she was purchasing the weapon for protection. Maybe it was a body double. I know the necklace is there, but that could be just people thinking that they really like aced it with the whole body double thing. Hey, Driftaway, nice to see you. I'm trying to get through some notes real quick to get into my video. So JP from the Micah Miller case, thanks so much for coming in and letting me know that you're here and that it's working. JP is a freaking train wreck and a financial nightmare. And I'm thinking that he had a big life insurance policy on Micah as well. Oh man, Scrubby Hubby is right. Shady AF. I mean, and his father. Him and his father remind me of Josh Powell, you know, the Susan Powell case, the young couple from Utah that the dad says he took the boys camping and she disappeared, and then He blew his house up a few years later in Washington State with himself and his little boys in it when a child protective services person was at the door because he had like supervised visits with the kids, and she was trying to pick them up, and he blew the three of them up, himself and his two toddler boys. But Susan Powell, I don't think her remains have ever been found. But not only was Josh insane with the control and the financial control and that kind of stuff with Susan, his father was a complete freaking perv and was like in love with her and had delusions that she was in love with him too. So I think JP's father, whose name you can Google, you've probably heard about it by now, Reginald Wayne Miller. He was arrested in 2006, I think, in Pakistan. There's just all kinds of crazy. There's also all kinds of crazy with the jurisdiction up there in North Carolina. There was something called Operation Tarnished Bridge. You can Google that and you can find a lot of information about that county sheriff's department being arsonists, you guys. So maybe insurance scams there too. Anyway, the last thing I want to say about this, and then I want to do my my yoga with you guys. I hope that you join me, and I hope that it is really beneficial for you because it is so beneficial for me. And I just appreciate you guys so much being here. Hey, Sherry and Mr. Mark, I miss you guys. I want to tell you just quickly, I don't really want to get into it because it's, family matters, but as you guys know, and I don't want to cry, I've had a family member hospitalized. So that's been my thing. I haven't been ghosting you guys. I've had my family member hospitalized. I've been visiting every day. And yeah, I had a good Mother's Day. So thank you. And I hope you guys did too. I'm looking forward to getting back on top of my game. And the last thing I wanted to say about the Micah Miller case is that JP, I believe, completely underestimated how much people loved Micah. He thought that people loved him as much as they love her. And man, is he having a rude awakening. So sending lobe light and prayers. I love that, Mr. Mark. The lobe, that's one of the jokes with me and my husband because, fat thumbs. So that's just a typo for love. I love that. Okay, I got my water. I'm going to get my thing started. We'll start laying on our backs, and I really recommend this if you're interested. It is really low key, and it gives you mass benefits. So here we go. I think. Set your intention for your practice. Hands on your belly for 10 deep belly breaths. Ruh-roh. I want my cool Golden Gate Bridge picture there if you can see it. Yeah, you can. Cool. And I hope you can see the things I'm doing here. So I can't do the 10 deep belly breaths, but I'll do what I can. When you do a deep belly breath, you have your hands on your tummy and you blow your tummy up like a balloon. 7. In through your nose, out through your mouth. 8. 9. And 10. Stay in the corpse pose for another minute. Switching out my pillows. And after a minute, you'll turn your head and neck from side to side. Take my glasses off too. And also check out my Instagram, you guys. It's Justice period A to Z with just one O, A-T-O-Z. Justice period A-T-O-Z. It's all just music. It's some of my favorite songs.
Stretch the neck. And now we'll do some B breaths with your forefingers and your middle fingers on each of your eyes. Your thumbs pushing on the part of your ear that'll make the sound.
That cartilage sticking out by your ear canal.
We're going to do
push your
low
thumbs on that
pitch
to
and
shut down
range, high and low and medium, humming 10 times. In and out your nostrils. Now hug your right knee for 1 minute, paying attention to the micro movements. Then after that, we will get our foot into a strap to do a single leg up a wall. But first, I'll give you a minute for just hugging that right knee.
So make sure you have a strap handy. I have a few of them. I can loan you one if you need. Just like a canvas belt or something.
Again, notice your micro movements. It's good to shift, go a little deeper, maybe pull back a little bit. Then you'll get the strap on the ball of your right foot and straighten your leg, engaging that foot.
Engaging simply means to flex your heel.
And moving your ankle around.
And then you can just stretch your ankle.
For about 30 seconds. Then we will hold the leg out to the side with or without the strap. We'll do that half straddle for another 30 seconds.
Switch straps because I've got this new blue one that I really like.
Breathing into it. Then switch legs to hug your left knee for a full minute. Again, paying attention to the micro movements. You can bear down on the stretch or you can lighten it up just ever so slightly. Notice how every little movement makes a big difference. And then we'll get the left foot into the strap and straighten that leg out, engaging that foot, rotating that ankle. You can also bend that knee if you like. And again, just keeping still and then slight movement and just noticing how every little thing makes a difference. Then we'll hold that leg out to the side, again with or without your strap, the half straddle. Hold that for about 30 seconds.
I would call this a reclined half straddle to be specific.
Now when we lower that leg down, we will hug our right knee again and place the right knee onto our left side for a supine twist. And it's nice sometimes to use a bolster for that. We'll hold this for 4 minutes. Actually, 2 minutes on each side, sorry. In supine, after keeping your dristi over your right fingers for a full minute.
Your dristi is your gaze. That's the yoga term for just looking, basically, where your eyes are focused. Of course, you can
Then
close your eyes,
slowly
too.
turn your head to look in the opposite direction with your arms in a T, and then placing your hand on your opposite knee.
I don't know how much of me is in the screen, and I do apologize
Creating
for
a light pressure
any goofy
with the
angles of things. I like to say it's
left
yoga.
hand on the right
You
knee.
just gotta laugh it off. It's just the way yoga is.
Holding that for another minute or about a minute altogether.
This is such a great stretch, you guys. And never push yourself.
And you'll place your right leg back on the floor, hugging both knees, bending your neck.
Just do what's comfortable for you.
And then lowering your right leg and hugging your left knee to do the supine twist to the right. We'll hold this supine twist to the right for a full minute with the arms in a T, keeping your gaze over your left fingers. Again, paying attention to micro movements. If it feels uncomfortable at any point, just shift. Always feel free to make whatever adjustments and shifts that you need. Keeping your gaze over your left fingers, and then slowly turning your head to look in the opposite direction. with your arms in that T shape. And then your right hand on your left knee, light pressure there, holding that.
The slightest pressure can make
for
such
another
a
minute.
difference. So always take it easy and don't overextend yourself, both in yoga and in life, right?
Such a great stretch. It's one of my favorites.
So if you missed the beginning, I spoke a little bit about Kylie and a lot about Micah Miller.
We'll lower that leg back down to the floor, then hugging the knees again, bending the neck, curling up in a ball. When we're done, we will hug the left knee again. Oh, wait, sorry. When done with the left knee, rotating the ankles, engaging the feet. And then we'll get into butterfly position with the bolster under the knees. And we will rainbow our arms from the sides overhead to a steeple grip.
And this is a steeple
Feel
grip.
that stretch.
It's like you're holding a firearm, basically.
Hold that for a couple of breaths.
I love the steeple grip.
And then flap your butterfly wings down, arms at your sides, palms up, and then moving your arms back up overhead, touching your fingers above your head. You can put your arms into a T, in a cactus pose, hands on your belly. It's yogi's choice. Just a few more breaths with that butterfly. And then we will use the strap on the balls of our feet to do legs up the wall for 1 minute. We will hold that. Knees can be straight or bent slightly. You can rock, you can wiggle.
So you can do the legs up the wall with the wall,
slight adjustments,
or with the strap you can do it without the wall.
Just paying attention to where your body is releasing the tension, where your body's holding the tension. When you're done, you can let go of the strap and hug your knees into your chest, binding your fingers.
Binding is just intertwining.
Rocking and rolling, massaging the low back on the ground. And then your feet back to the floor, knees together. Allow the knees to fall to the right. Maybe a block or a bolster between the knees, maybe not. Your arms are in a T and focus your gaze to the opposite hand. looking out over your left fingers.
Looking for another one of my little pillows. A block is handy and that works.
We'll hold this for about a minute total.
I hope you can get a good view of most of what I'm doing. I know it's awkward with the camera being still.
Keep that gaze over your left fingertips. We're going to roll the head, turn the head slowly to look in the other direction. And then slowly we're going to turn back. And we'll bring our knees to neutral. And then we will fall the knees to the left side, both knees. Using that blocker bolster between our knees if we did so on the first side.
It's such a great
focusing our
stretch.
Gaze over our right fingertips and with our arms in a T position. Keeping that gaze over the right fingertips. And then slowly we'll roll the head to look the opposite direction. And then slowly we'll roll our head back again. And then we'll get back to neutral. Taking a break, laying our legs flat on the mat. When we're ready, we will very slowly turn either to your left or to your right to lay onto your front side.
Slow like
up
a sloth
on your
there.
elbows and forearms in the Sphinx position. We'll then hike the right knee up, out next to us. With our right arm out front, we will thread the needle with our left arm. And then getting our right hand onto our right hip. You can move your arm or you can keep it on your hip. We're going to hold this for about a minute. Notice the difference from the last supine twist.
And shift around as
Just the
needed.
difference getting into the pose and all the different places your weight is, all the different places the tension is or isn't. We'll undo this twisted position and rest our head on our hands for about 30 seconds in stillness. Then we'll hike our left knee up next to us.
Sphinx position again.
And put our left arm out front and thread the needle with our right hand. Getting our left hand onto our hip. Holding that for a minute. Again, noticing how different this feels, even though it's a very similar supine twist to the last one we did.
And keeping your gaze out over your left shoulder. That gaze just gives you an extra stretch, an extra
So
flow.
as we are done with the other side, we will rest our head on our hands again, doing a windshield wiper movement with our feet and knees. And then coming out of this pose, we will push our hips back for a wide knee child's pose. With the bolster on top of our legs, maybe a pillow.
Actually, bolster under.
Holding for a minute.
I said on top of, but that's not what I meant. I was getting confused. So wide leg child pose, kind of like a frog position.
Letting that pillow support the weight of your torso. Just kind of ragdoll your torso, your upper body.
I should have my pillow and bolster pulled up higher for
And then we'll
support.
Move through a tabletop position to lie flat on your belly. Sphinx on your forearms, your hands, your fingers spread wide. Turn your right forearm parallel with the mat, reaching for your left foot with your left hand. We'll hold this half boat pose for about 20 seconds.
It's a half bow. I mistakenly called it a half boat on the tape.
Feel that stretch. You could always use a strap here if it's too hard to grab your foot. We'll let go of that. We'll rest for a moment. Windshield wiper the feet. Wiggle the hips. And then the other side. Turn your left forearm parallel to your mat. Reach your right hand to your right foot. And we'll hold that for about 20 seconds. Much harder for me to reach
my right hand to my right foot.
Feel that stretch in your thigh.
It's pretty common to have it be different side to side.
Feel the burn.
And it's good just to note and pay attention to which side is doing what.
So letting go of that and letting both knees down to the mat, we will push ourselves back into child's pose with the head on a block maybe. And we'll stay in that child's pose for a full minute. Just relax into it.
It's a much harder pose than it looks. But it's a relaxing pose. Just do what you can. Don't push yourself too hard.
Again, pay attention to the micro movements. Then we'll walk our fingers over to the right corner of the mat. And then back to neutral. Walking the fingers to the left corner of the mat. Holding that pose for about another 20 seconds. Then we will tabletop to hero's pose. And then swinging our legs out in front of ourselves into staff pose. And getting that bolster and pillows on top of the legs again to support the torso, leaning forward over the legs. Or you could use a strap here on the balls of your feet. Just ragdolling your torso and pushing your hips forward. Pushing your hips forward towards your toes. Now straighten your left leg with your right foot to your left inner thigh and reach for those left toes. Hold that for another 20 seconds.
I need some water 1 second.
Simply switch it out for the other side, reaching for your right toes. And now we will get into that seated butterfly and turning our head from side to side, stretching our neck, looking down, rolling it out, right ear to right shoulder, left ear to left shoulder. Stretch the neck. If you'd like, you could add pressure, light pressure with your fingertips when you get your right ear down to your right shoulder. Again, and then back to neutral. And then you can use that fingertip pressure optional as you drop your left ear to your left shoulder. And then simply turning the head side to side. And bring yourself up into a wide straddle, leaning forward, holding that for about 30 more seconds. Just a nice wide straddle and leaning forward.
You can sometimes use your blocks to like rest your forehead. Basically, your blocks bring the ground closer to you.
And then we'll lean over to the left side for a good 30 seconds.
And I love my blocks. I tend to use them in every class. Just nice stability.
Back to neutral and then over to the right side for another half minute.
And another drink of agua.
Now bending the right knee over the left leg. That leg is out straight, and then we'll twist to the right, glancing to the back of the room. Slowly transition your gaze to the front, leveraging your left elbow on your right knee. Slow glance side to side. And then we'll switch it out, bending the left knee over the right leg. Right leg is out straight, twisting to the left and glancing to the back of the room. Slowly turning our gaze to the front of the room. After hooking our elbow to leverage, our right elbow leveraging on our left knee, slowly glancing side to side. Then back to butterfly and into a Lord of the Fish pose. We'll get our right knee over our left knee bent.
Every time I think of Lord of the Flies and want to say, this one's for you,
right
Kylie girl.
Arm back behind us. Left elbow leverages against right knee. Looking back. Holding that for about a minute. You can adjust your glance and just notice how the subtlest change in your glance can really affect the whole stretch of your body differently.
Or how you straighten hold your hand behind
both
you.
Legs out in front for staff pose. And rainbow your arms up to steeple grip. Stretching up tall for switching and getting your left knee over your right knee. And twisting to the left with your left arm back, your right elbow leveraging against your left knee. Looking back.
I'd say Lord of the Fish is probably the most popular yoga pose that most of us probably know, even if we don't know yoga. It's just such an amazing stretch. And it's the leveraging of the elbow on the knee that really defines the effectiveness, in my opinion. In my humble opinion.
We will get into the staff pose again, straightening your legs out in front. And we will do eagle arms on each side. First, your right elbow over your left.
Cactus arms to eagle arms.
Pushing elbows slightly up. Bending neck down. And then undoing that.
Back to cactus.
Into a cactus pose with the arms, and then eagle arms on the other side, your left elbow over your right elbow. Pushing your elbows slightly up and bending your neck down. Then we will rainbow our hands up overhead into steeple grips, sitting tall. Holding that for about 30 seconds.
Even if it looks easy, nothing
and then
is.
Bending forward for about 10 seconds. Then we will lie down on the mat with knees bent, feet on the mat. Get your left foot into the strap at the ball of your right foot. Get the left foot into the strap on the ball of your foot. Right foot over your left thigh for the reclined pigeon.
You can pull yourself up, or you can lay your head down, or you can mix it up.
Hold that reclined pigeon. Such a great stretch. One of my favorites.
If you haven't noticed, these are all my favorite stretches. That's what this class is. All my favorites. Every single one of them, really.
And bending your knee is an option in the reclined pigeon, or playing with the knee straight and then bent. Switch sides. We'll get our right foot into that strap on the ball of the foot.
Always on the ball.
Left foot over right thigh for that reclined pigeon on the other side. Again, bending the knee if you wish, straightening the knee. Just staying in that position for about a minute. Feels so good. Now with the feet back to the mat, we will hug our knees to our chest for about 20 seconds.
You can rock and roll.
Hugging those knees, bending that neck, forehead to the knees. Now we'll get our right knee over our left knee, and we'll fall the legs to the right side. Hold that for a minute. Feel that stretch.
Keeping your wrist
Have your
over
arms
the
in
opposite
the T.
fingertips.
Looking out over your left fingertips with your gaze.
Yeah, like I just said. This is such an amazing opener.
Then you can turn your head the opposite direction slowly. And coming out of that, we'll get our feet flat on the mat in neutral, and then hugging the knees to chest again. Stretching the neck towards the knees again. Hold for a full breath or two, and then we'll get our feet to the mat, and this time our left knee over the right, falling the knees to the left side for a minute. Keeping our gaze out over our right fingertips. Just feel that stretch. It feels so good. Just relax into it. Deep breaths. When we're done, we will hug the knees one more time. Hug them tight, rocking and rolling. And then getting into our happy baby position for 1 to 2 minutes.
Adjust myself slightly. Happy baby.
Happy baby is always one of my favorites.
Like I said, this whole class is all of my favorites.
I like to play around with straightening the legs, bending the legs, bending the knees. Just really feel that stretch in your back and your thighs. And again, rocking and rolling in your happy baby. Such a happy baby. Breathe into it. With a block, we will do our supported bridge. You can use one block, you can use 2 blocks. You can keep it on its lowest side. I'll hold that supported bridge for at least a minute.
It's just a good relaxation. Resting the small of your back on your block.
While still on the block, we'll put our legs up a wall with or without a strap, and we'll hold that position for another minute. Again, you can play with bending the knees slightly, straightening the knees. And now, if it's in your practice, we have an option here for shoulder stand and for the plow. Let's first hold our shoulder stand for at least a full 30 seconds.
Let's see how my shoulder standing is today. It's kind of different every day.
Straightening out your shoulder stand and then lowering your legs over your head towards the floor for the plow for another 30 seconds. Now we'll roll down to the floor one vertebrae at a time, tucking your chin all the way down to the corpse pose for a full 3 minutes, resting into the corpse pose.
And thanking your body for all the good stretches. Thanking your brain for taking the time out of your day to do this. You've done yourself a huge justice, warrior gift. A gift that keeps on giving. You'll be feeling it, believe me. And you'll sleep well tonight, too. Believe it or not, sometimes this right here is the hardest pose for me. Just because I've got such an overactive brain.
Now, if you're comfortable rocking with your chin tucked, coming up into a staff pose, reaching up, rainbowing your arms again into that steeple grip and sitting tall. We'll hold that for about 30 seconds. Tall in your steeple grip. And then we'll get into easy pose. We'll do some chanting.
This is easy pose. Again, we'll rainbow our arms up overhead to prayer hands. Bringing our thumbs or our knuckles to our third eye on the way down to hands to heart. And bow to close. And so it is. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you so much for practicing.
Let me get my glasses so I can read your comments.
Have a blessed day.
See who is still here. You're so nice to be in my live. I almost did a pre-recorded today again, but I love being live with you guys. Miss W, so cool to see you. I had Mr. Mark's Happy Mother's Day up there for the whole time. That's great. And let's see, Jackie Bushable. Hello, hello, if you're still here. That was a little bit ago, like half an hour. Not at all. Let's see. Nice Drift. Are you sure it's sleeping? I just realized I do yoga all night long trying to find a comfortable position to sleep. I'm not flexible. Who knew I didn't? I love you guys' comments. Yes, doing yoga all night is great. Drift, are you sure it's sleeping? Not at all when I get up in the morning. Aw. And I thought yoga was supposed to make you feel better. Yeah. Well, do it lightly. Don't push yourself into the stretches. Even the simplest stretch, like the staff pose or easy pose, corpse pose. Seriously, nothing is simple. Just go with what feels right for you and make any adjustments you need. Always give yourself permission to opt out of the whole class or just a specific thing. You need to trust yourself to know what is best. So Driftaway says, "Do I hear water sounds?" And I don't think so. I think I might have heard somebody using a blender in the kitchen a while back, like Babbling Brooks. I don't think so. Um, have to run off. Enjoy the day. Thank you, Mr. Mark. Thanks for being here. Just missed you by a second. And enjoy your day, Mark. Enjoy your day, Drift Away. Mark, I have been watching your videos that I can. I don't think I've been catching much of your live. And then I know you're not keeping them up, which I understand. Um, but I really enjoy your lives. So it's sad to miss them. Or a blender in the kitchen. That's great. Babbling Brooks or a blender in the kitchen. All right, you guys. Peace out. Sending you light, sending you love. Have a fabulous day. Let me scooch over to the side so you can see the cool chakra plant stand tower in the back there. Um, and just take really good care of yourself. Make sure you're drinking all of your fluids, getting all your nourishment, your protein, and your veggies, and be kind to yourself, kind to others, and don't put up with anybody's crap, right? All right. See you soon. You too. Prayers for the family in hospital. Thank you. Thank you, my dear. I'm off to visit right now. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Have a great day.